Talk. Light Talk. Lumen Brothers. Light Talk.
Hey, this is Steve in Dallas, Texas. It's Saturday morning, my friend, and you are listening to Light Talk.
And this is Ellen, living the life on the tropical island of St. Bart's, and you are listening to Light Talk.
Coming to you direct from the Hampton Inn in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is Dennis. You're still listening to Light Talk.
The Hampton Inn. Are you kidding me?
Nothing but the best for me, David.
Wait a second. Last week we were talking about your yacht and you're staying at a Hampton Inn? Unbelievable.
Well, he has the entire third floor.
At the Hampton Inn, the third floor is the penthouse. So he's up in the penthouse.
Those yacht payments are pretty high, you know. Got to cut corners.
And this is David coming to you from the beautiful Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California. And if you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers.
And sister.
That's right, Ellen. Welcome, everyone, to episode 458. And today we chat with two Pat MacKay scholarship recipients, Darius Knight Evans and Elena Hewett. Hey, guys. Welcome to Light Talk.
Hello.
All right. Before we get started, Ellen, could you please tell our audience a little bit about the Pat MacKay scholarships?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Founded in 2019 and funded by LDI and Live Design, the goal of the Diversity in Design Scholarships is to support underrepresented and unique voices in the field of entertainment design. The scholarships are named for Pat MacKay, former publisher of Theater Crafts and Lighting Dimensions magazines, and the founder of the LDI trade show. MacKay is a USITT fellow and has served as a mentor for multiple generations of industry professionals. The scholarships are awarded to students currently enrolled in lighting, digital media, and sound design programs on an undergraduate level, as well as high school seniors who have been accepted to an undergraduate college, community college, or university design program. Since 2019, there have been 41 recipients selected by panels of design professionals, with the Theatrical Sound Designers and Composers Association and USITT partnering with Live Design and LDI, and sponsorship from Light Switch for the past few years and from Lightright as of 2025. Dennis, why don't you introduce our guests?
I'd be happy to. Darius Knight Evans is currently a rising senior at Boston University, getting a BFA in lighting design. He recently designed Mother Mary at Boston Playwrights Theater. Darius was selected as a 2023 Pat MacKay Diversity in Design Scholarship recipient and the 2024 Collier Robert Woods Jr. Scholarship recipient. When he is not in a theater, he loves to read and juggle. You can follow his work on Instagram at DariusEvans_. Our second USITT Pat MacKay Diversity in Design recipient, but from 2025, is Elena Hewett, who hails from Steve Wood's neighborhood in Dallas, Texas. Elena is now based in Michigan, where they pursue a BFA in lighting design and a BA in, get this, comparative genocide studies at Western Michigan University. Hewett loves collaborating across artistic disciplines and finds particular joy in work that emphasizes and celebrates diversity. They currently have design experience in event, dance, and theatrical lighting. They have worked in various theaters in both the Kalamazoo and the Dallas area and are a member in good standing of YATSE's Local 26 branch. Thank you for joining us, Darius and Elena.
Thank you for having us.
Hello.
Well, this is really exciting because we've never had two scholarship award winners on.
Right.
We've had Tony Award winners on. We've had Emmy Award winners on. But now we're talking
We have
about
also never, ever, and probably never will have again somebody pursuing a BA in comparative genocide studies.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Well, bravo to
and
that.
we've never
by
had
the
a
way.
member of Local 26. Where is Local
Yeah,
26?
Most of Western Michigan, and comparative genocide studies is a niche field, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Awesome.
Let's hope it stays that way.
So,
That's right.
Darius, the juggling reminded me of something. Was your dad a clown?
Yes, he is.
He
Awesome.
is.
He
As a professional career?
hmm he took a clowning class when he was in college, and he loved it so much he like went to his professor, who is now who I call my uncle. But he went to his professor and he was like, "How do I keep doing this?" And he said, "Well, we're all going on like a trip to Europe to do like a circus arts tour. I can't really give you a bed, or I can't pay you an edge to the tour, but I can give you like a mat to sleep on, and you can babysit someone's kid if you want to come." And so he went, and he's never stopped being a professional clown.
That's amazing. But you didn't want to follow in his footsteps.
Well, that's all I wanted to do when I was a kid. I learned how to juggle. I learned how to walk on stilts. I learned how to make balloon animals, although I wasn't really good at it. I could do an okay flower and like a decent dog.
Okay.
Decent dog.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But then,
So what led you into lighting design?
so I went to a performing arts high school in New Jersey, which is like down the street from where I live. And there I was like kind of doing a little bit of everything, as high school kind of is. But this summer before my senior year, I went to the first year of the Studio School of Design high school intensive workshop created by Mark Stanley and Clifton Taylor. And I went to that and I loved it. It was only 4 days long, the very first year they did it. But it was my first time being exposed to like a new lighting console, not like the older Ion Classic. And I got to work with them like moving lights for the very first time. And I was like, wow, it's crazy how much you can really do with light. And so I kept in touch with Mark and Clifton after that.
Just out of curiosity, Darius, who was the instructor in the class that you took?
Oh, we had a couple of different instructors. We had about 4 different instructors. One of them is Emmanuel Delgado. He's an assistant associate on Broadway now. The other is Stacy Boggs. And then over the past couple
they have
years.
professional designers who are instructors at studio school. Yeah, no, it's a great thing. It's wonderful to hear from somebody who's been through that.
Oh yeah, I love it. I went back this summer as one of the instructors, and I worked with the other 2023 Pat MacKay scholarship recipient Deandra, and we went back as co-instructors. So we worked together the entire week and got to work with some pretty awesome high schoolers.
I have to say that Darius is a real go-getter. By the end of 2023 LDI, he was already hired to help, I think, Martin with the loadout of their booth.
Yeah.
And then when Hannah and I went to Show Light in Dijon, France this year, we walk in, and who do you think is standing behind the counter handing out the badges? Darius. So he knows how to work the industry to his advantage, and rightly so. It's a great way to get ahead.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome.
So, Elena, what about you? How did the bug bite you?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up kind of in the middle of nowhere, East Texas. Didn't really have a lot in terms of funding there. My family is very much in the theater space. I think the first show I was ever in, I was 3 years old, and I was a dancing plate in Beauty and the Beast. And so even though I was middle of nowhere in the woods, I still had that deep love for the theatrical arts. And in 2020, my family moved to Dallas. Not the best timing, all things considered,
No.
but it led to the technical director at our high school resigning. And there was no one in the entire 4,000 person high school who knew how to do lights. But I had access to ETC forums and said, I can figure it out. And it was very much water into a desert. I loved it as soon as my hands were on that console. And I never looked back. And I've been pursuing this sort of ever since then.
What about your balloon art skills? Can you make a decent dog?
Actually, it's interesting. One of my uncles is a professional clown. So
Oh.
I can't juggle, but I can make some pretty solid balloon animals,
Yeah.
and I can walk on stilts. So Darius and I will team up one of these days.
Don't worry about it because you're on a podcast filled with clowns today.
Right.
So we're all in the same boat.
But what
So there you
gave
go.
you the interest in comparative genocide studies?
Yeah, my father took a class on the Cambodian genocide in college, and I'm a bit of a obsessive reader. So when I was about 9, I had cleared through the entire local library and every book that my parents owned, except for my father's college textbooks. And so he just started passing me his textbooks, one of which was To Destroy You Is No Loss, an excellent text on the Cambodian genocide. And he passed that over to me at 9 years old and was like, yeah, you've run out of other things to read. And I've sort of been obsessed with the research aspect of that ever since.
Have you been there yet?
To Cambodia, no, but
Yeah.
I did take a trip through Germany, Austria, Poland, and Switzerland this summer doing some independent research with the folks over at Hartheim. Their archivist is really amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, great at parties.
You were at LDI this year for the first time. What impressed you and what did you like or not like about it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was overwhelming for sure. It was not like any other conference or expo floor that I've been to previously. I think honestly, it was really cool to see the small shops with people who are really dedicated to innovating in the space. I was really impressed by the people over at Carbon with their like physics engine integration, lifetime collaboration in these 3D drafting spaces. That was really cool to see. And it feels like they're innovating in a direction that we haven't really seen before. So that was really exciting. And then also, I am a bit of a sucker for lasers. I know it's like the new shiny thing, but the increased scanning speeds and the Pangolin Beyond, the workflow in Pangolin is really impressive. And it reminds me of like Adobe Premiere, Premiere Pro, just combining my favorite things about Illustrator and Premiere Pro into like a single integrated software. So that was really cool to see.
And Darius, I guess you've been there a couple times now. What do you like about the show?
Well, my favorite thing about LDI is talking to new people and meeting people on the show floor. It's unmatched for that. LDI is such a huge conference, and that's one of the reasons I keep going back, to say hi to old friends and then to meet new people. But I also just love seeing the new tech. That's like the best part. You get to walk around and see these crazy light shows that you don't really get to see at like school or other conferences, because LDI is really like a huge lighting show, so you get to see all the coolest stuff. But yeah, I love it. It's really the people.
Did you two have a chance to see any of the presentations, the sessions?
Yeah, I actually took a 2-day course on Pangolin Beyond. So I got my hands in that software. And then we also got to go to Dining with Dinosaurs, which was a really amazing event. Got to really meet some of the industry professionals and have some really great conversations. And then, I don't know, Darius, I'm sure can speak to some of the other sessions.
I went to a couple sessions. I went to the Death Becomes Her panel, which was really, really fun. Just seeing them talk through their entire work show for such a massive show, and then hearing them talk about how they would debate overhead space with like the seating department, and then like create an idea, knowing that they have to share resources, was just like amazing. Oh my gosh, the art of follow spots classes it was like an entire morning of follow spot classes. That was just amazing. I sat there the entire time taking notes, went up to them afterwards, started talking about all the different systems. I love follow spots. It's one of my favorite things to do in school, and like running a follow spot. I love it. And so sitting in that class and getting to learn from those guys on that panel, crazy. It was amazing.
She even had Bob Boniol on one of those panels talking about follow spots, which is sort of amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, Dennis and I were at the Death Becomes Her panel.
Oh, really?
And I was there because, Nick Solium was one of my students. He was he was actually, I was his undergraduate lighting teacher, and then he went to NYU for graduate work, and he's been an associate for me, and I'm a huge Nick Sullivan fan.
There you go.
Along with everyone else. But that's a very interesting part of our industry, to get in as an associate, to make sure, to be able to become an associate. We actually did a show about that.
Also, Darius, Colleen Doherty, who was with Justin Townsend on that panel, was also part of this Young Designer series that
Right.
you and Elena are now a part of.
That's right.
Hey, I love
Let me
Colleen.
ask you a
Justin
question.
was on our show.
That's
too.
right.
Justin was on
You
our
have
show.
to go
Right.
back and look at the episodes or listen to the episodes with Justin and Colleen Doherty. They were excellent episodes.
I listened to the episodes on the way home from LDI
Oh,
on
you
the
did?
plane. Yep.
And you still decided to be on the show. You still decided. My God.
The two of you have an excellent opportunity right now because the queen of LDI is with us on this podcast. What would you like to see changed at LDI or improved upon to make the show even more wonderful for younger designers?
I think a really good first step is this scholarship, making sure people can get there. It is a not insignificant financial cost, at least for me out in Michigan, to travel all the way to Vegas and find food and housing. So an excellent first step is providing that accessibility through scholarship opportunities like this. So that would be my big one. It was really sort of unmatched, and I don't think I realized how big it was until I showed up on the expo floor and started walking around and meeting people and realizing the circumstances I was in. But other than that, I think connecting scholars like me to previous scholars like Darius, people who have sort of come in at that 19, 20 years old, trying to make sense of, this entire big conference, connecting people across those lines, I think is a good direction to go, if anything.
It's interesting you say that because I was talking to John Featherstone from Light Switch, who has supported the scholarship for the past couple years, and he and I were talking about maybe trying to do a Zoom once a month or once every other month with all of the recipients that we could ever possibly get back together, and people from Light Switch who totally want to be mentors or are there for you. So would you guys attend such a thing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
great. Okay. All right, let's talk about that. That would be great.
Darius, what would you recommend to improve LDI?
I think it would be cheating, but I would say make it longer. But that seems like a cheating answer. I would say more. The entire show floor, it's just one big networking show floor. But I would say more events for people under 21. That's I know my first year. Because everyone goes and they hang out at the Circle Bar, or they go to Resorts World after. They have LDI After Dark, which I'm very excited to be able to go to next year because I've only heard incredible things about the lighting at Omnia every year. But I haven't been able to go yet. So I know one thing that I always try to do is grab dinner with any of the designs, Pat MacKay scholarship recipients. My first year, we all went out and we had a nice Italian dinner together, which was really fun.
Let me ask you this. Last week, one of the things that Ellen had brought up and wished for next year, and I can't remember the stats, so my numbers might be wrong, but I think it was 14,000 people attended, went and did floor attendance, but only 1,000 people actually went to the presentations and seminars. How could that be improved so that more people get to go to the seminars?
It's interesting that you say that because there's actually a caveat to that, because there's a lot of free stuff on the show floor that people can go to with their floor pass. So that 1,000 is probably maybe 50% more, maybe 1,500 with the people who actually sit in the sessions on the floor. There's 1,000 who pay to go to them. But yes, we would love to increase that.
What is it that made you go to the sessions that you went to? Again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and you can just answer honestly or lie. For example, I did a session on the lighting of Good Morning America, what I found is that there were other things opposite me, my session, that conflicted. And I actually wanted to see something opposite my session, but couldn't because of the scheduling. And I even had to leave my own session early to go to the Light Talk session. So how is it that you chose to go to something else and didn't choose to go to the session I did, for example?
It was a lot of schedule balancing. At least for me, some of the sessions that I went to were just what Ellen and the team at LDI were willing to comp for me through the scholarship, which was really amazing. It meant that I got to do that 2-day intensive on Pangolin Beyond. But having that meant that I was in that class for 9 hours all day. So it's a scheduling conflict thing. I'm not sure there's a way to resolve that without doing what Darius suggested and just extending it for another week and making sure everybody has their own time slot.
No, but we do start the training on Wednesday, and it runs all the way through the following Tuesday. It's a very show floor driven show, as opposed to a conference where they're like, or just tabletops, like at Show Light or someplace else. But yeah, there's certainly room for improvement, and maybe there aren't multiple sessions. Who knows?
I'd like to start talking a little bit about your future, because you're both pretty much going to be seniors next year. What are your future plans as far as education is concerned? Because, we were talking about the Studio School of Design, which is, came on the scene several years ago. It's very successful. And, these are all friends of ours. And I used to teach at a university, at a conventional university. Steve still teaches at a university because of technology. Do you see a difference in your possible pathways into the profession, into learning more about lighting, and then, meeting people and getting into the profession? I mean, what are your plans? What do you see ahead of you?
I think at my plans right now, post-grad, are to move back home. I'm lucky enough to live in New Jersey, which is close to the city. So my plans are to move back home, live at home, save a little bit of money because New York is expensive, and then try to work in New York as either a draftsman, an electrician, and try to do some assistant work. Try my hand at the freelance life for a little bit, work professionally, see what I know, network more with people working in the city. And then after a couple of years, if I think that I still need to learn, then my plan is to go back to graduate school and then get my master's.
Elena?
Yeah, I think LDI definitely changed my plans. I met a lot of people who have given me a better idea of what I want to do with my future. Grad school is currently very expensive, so it's not something that's necessarily viable for me. And I'd also like to wait before I jump straight in. So I think that what I'm looking at right now is graduating with both degrees, jumping into shop work, finding a position, working 6 to 9 months with either PRG's internship, look at 4-wall, clay packy, working in a shop, developing touring, and then jumping into working on tours, and then ideally working up as a programmer, as an assistant, as associate, and then jumping into the design field. But I really want to build that strong baseline of knowledge from a shop, from that like touring perspective, so that I can produce work that's both authentic and I know will be executed well across the country. That's the goal.
What particular discipline do you want to go into? Theater, ballet, opera, dance, television, film? And also, Elena, what part of the country are you thinking of starting out in?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm lucky enough to have family here in Dallas, so I would come back to Dallas and hopefully get a free rent for a few months while I get my feet under me. But ultimately, I am looking to move more towards the European scene in terms of touring. I am energized by music. I love music. I know it's a buzzword right now, but I love the interactive and immersive spaces. I think that that's really exciting to see what we can do with individual audiences and make sure that everyone can like take away their own unique experience. I think that's really engaging and energizing. So the goal would be to work in music, to work with touring productions, but I'm open to anything. And I really just do love lighting. And I love this field, and I'm excited to do any work that keeps me here.
Darius, what about you? Same question. What discipline and what part of the country?
I've gotten asked this question before, and my response is I kind of want to do a little bit of everything. I'm super interested in architectural lighting design for TV and film. I love musical theater. Legally Blonde, the musical, is one of the musicals that like started it all for me. I did it in high school and I loved it. So I love musical theater, but like dance lighting design, like there's so much you can do with that. And I love watching dance. So I kind of want to do a little bit of everything.
Now, your teacher is Mark Stanley, correct?
Yes.
So what advice does Mark give you in that regard?
Well, it's because I live so close to the city, and I'm always going across taking the NJ Transit into the city to go meet new people. He's kind of just told me just keep doing what I'm doing, and stay at home, save some money. Don't try to move to the city. You just you can work in the city, but because you live so close, you can just stay at home and save a lot of money.
Why did you choose to go to Boston University?
A couple reasons. I had already known Mark in Clifton from studio school. And so when I was looking at colleges, I reached out to Mark and I started asking him questions about his program. And then I arranged an unofficial visit where I just went up, spoke to him for the day, sat in on a couple classes. And I loved it. I met some of the students and I was like, wait, this is awesome. I got to take a tour and sit in of tech for one of the shows they were doing. I think it was called Art House. And I just saw everyone working together really well. And I was like, okay, this seems like a really nice environment. And then my church that I'm a part of, they had a region up in Boston as well. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll have community up there. I already know the professor. I sat in a class and I liked it. So those were like the really big things driving me up to Boston.
Elena, what about you? Why Michigan?
Yeah, Dallas to Michigan was definitely some culture shock and temperature shock. But I ended up taking kind of a surprise gap year in between high school and college. I got my IB diploma, applied to a bunch of international schools, and then had a couple of visas fall through. It was COVID, so it's understandable, but I had some visas fall through very last minute in New Zealand. That meant I ended up having taken half a gap year in January, not having a visa, having my college fall through, and sort of turning around and being like, well, where do I do lighting now? And I had a friend very dear to me, Lauren Myers, who is now a stage manager over at Utah Shakespeare Festival. But she was like, I'm going to Western Michigan. They have an incredible hands-on program. And I know that there's this kooky, crazy professor who teaches comparative genocide. And I was like, you know what? I'm in. And I applied. I flew out for auditions a week later, and they emailed me directly, less than 6 days after that, saying, we want you in the program. So it worked out really well. They gave me a bunch of scholarship money, which was also great. And I was able to just relocate up to Michigan, brave the cold weather, and it's been working out really well for me. I love the community, and we don't have a grad program, so all of the lighting design is done by students, which for me is a huge plus because it means that if they need a master electrician for a program, for a production, if they need a follow spot for production, I have designed 2 full-size productions. I'm working on my 3rd main stage, and I have a 4th main stage coming up, and that's very intimidating, but it is wonderful hands-on experience, and I don't think you can really beat it.
Good for you.
That's a wise choice to go to an undergraduate school that does not have a grad program. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. And
all respect to grad students.
I want to go back to a question we did not ask, and I think it's really important. And that is, where do you see technology and artificial intelligence going, and how will it affect you as lighting artists?
I will jump on this right off the bat and say that as someone who spends a lot of time in the human rights space, I have a lot of ethical reservations about artificial generative intelligence. We're not anywhere close to AGI, as LLMs won't get us there. Generative models won't get us there. And so a lot of companies right now that are very big in the AI space are selling a fantasy of AGI that I don't think this rational thought model is going to get us to. So that being said, I think that there are a lot of targeted niche applications that are really exciting. I know that you spoke with a guest a couple months ago about voice recognition input into console, which I think is really exciting, but it's a targeted niche application of this technology. And I think a lot of the space is moving towards these large language models, or LLMs, and they're moving towards generative content, which I don't see as being creatively exciting. I don't think it's very ethically sound as a field, and I don't think it's supported into the future. With the increasing cost of inference, I just don't see this technology taking off in the way that I think a lot of these companies want us to believe that it will. That would be my take. I think technology is advancing, and that's wonderful, and there's some really good applications, but I don't see sort of this mirage that Sam Altman is selling us, that LLMs are the future, as being something that we should necessarily be buying.
It's wonderful to hear you say that. Darius, what do you think? AI.
My thoughts on AI, I kind of feel the same way. I think once you start using AI to generate art, then, I don't know, it takes the human feel out of it. And it doesn't, I don't think it looks as good as, anything a human can make. But I think AI can be extremely helpful if it's used in the right way. Like, I use AI a lot when I'm doing research. But when you're searching for things or you're looking for information, that's when AI can be super helpful, because it can give you a direct answer a lot faster than other search engines, because it's been trained on so much data. But once it's going to create things, that's when things get very iffy, because did the AI make that, or is the AI basing that off the other things that other people have made? That's one argument that has been brought up a lot in school, because that's like a whole other thing when you're talking about AI and education. And like I'm a little apprehensive about AI in the art, but I also understand that if I avoid using AI, then I'm not going to understand it enough. And I know that it's going to be growing in other fields. So eventually it's going to come into ours. And so I have to understand it. But right now, I think using it for creation isn't viable. I think using it for research is much more effective.
I will give you a little bit of pushback on that. As someone whose other degree is entirely research focused, it can be a significant detriment to the space. And we've seen a lot of negative pushback from researchers and career academics at the impact that this is having in their spaces, because it is generative. It's not a research tool, so it can come back with just hallucinations, right? So that would be my pushback there, is that while it can provide you what seem like targeted answers in the research space, especially when we're dealing with what my field is dealing with, it can be something that's really a bit of a poison in the well.
Oh yeah, I hadn't considered that. Yeah,
that would be my sort of pushback to that.
In an attempt to lighten this up a little bit, the two of you are probably the youngest designers that we've had in our Young Designers series. And, you're both in the last year of your degrees, your bachelor's degrees. Very stressful times, a lot of anxiety. You're concerned about what you're going to do, where you're going to go. What do you do for fun? What do you do for that diversion? How do you cope with that so that you can just veg out, as they say?
I love a good slice of pizza and a comedy television show.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Good for you.
So I think one of my favorites is New Girl. If you've seen it,
yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, actually.
Oh my, it's so
fun.
Funny. Arrested Development is also really good. There's the hilarious shows. So like, if I just need to decompress, I'll just go get a slice of pizza and watch a comedy TV show.
What about you, Elena?
Yeah. I love to cook. So I cook all of my own food. It's very similar. I will make myself up a pizza, and then I love like British comedy panel TV shows. So if you know Taskmaster, I've watched every season, New Zealand, Australia, and UK. Huge Taskmaster fan. Yeah. And then less light shows. I'm a big like murder mystery person, so the new Knives Out was really excellent. But
I haven't
yeah.
Yeah,
seen
it was
it.
very good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask the really tough question for the day. What would you two give in the way of advice to your 18-year-old self?
Elena, if you have an answer. I think I have an
Okay,
answer.
put me
but
on the
if you have-
spot.
If you want to go
That-
first.
that's all right.
I don't know.
No, you're good. I would actually advise them to just go all in on the gap year, because I spent about half of it working really hard on all of those visa applications and doing all of the legal stuff. And then the second half was like traveling Europe and just enjoy. I would just spend the whole year doing the things that I loved, because it helped really cement my artistic eye. It helped me really understand what I loved about lighting, about art generally, and about the world. And I would just advise myself to not take that for granted and really go in 100%, so that when I stepped into the college experience, I was ready to do that with a developed creative vision. And not to say that I don't have that, but I think I could have maximized that experience. And for students that are coming out of high school, I think there is that really big pressure to jump straight into college and pick exactly what you want to do for your career and pick exactly which college, and it's going to have so much impact on your future. And while I think a lot of those things are true, it can be really nice just to take that year to step back, think about who you are, think about what you want to do and the art that you want to create, and then move forward with confidence rather than just scrambling for scraps. So that would be my advice, I think. Darius?
Darius, the gauntlet was thrown.
Yeah. Okay.
Good move, Darius.
I'll try to live up to that amazing answer. If I had to give myself advice, or to any young person about to go to college, I would say, ask questions. And I know this is something that I do personally at school. Don't just learn from the curriculum. If there's something you want to learn, go to your professor and just ask about it. Like if their office door is open, go bother them. If you have a grad program, bother the grad students, bother your peers, and the people, upperclassmen, underclassmen. Ask everyone questions, because you will learn a lot from the people around you and the people above you.
Don't be afraid to just email people. It's something I've been learning.
True.
Don't be afraid to just like reach out or show up to your professor's office hours or text someone out of the blue, because the world is not out to get you for the most part.
Mhm.
And people do want to share their knowledge and share their expertise. So don't be afraid to just go out and do it.
I'm going to make a correction there to what Darius said. The word bother, don't ever think it's a bother.
It's not.
And
That's
it's
what
really
we always
not.
talk about this on the show to young designers is, somebody's coming into town, go ahead and find them on Facebook or Instagram and say, hey, would you mind if I came by and shadowed you? And because I get that all the time. We all get that. So that's really great.
We can't stress enough, and every young designer we've had has said that, where they thought outside the envelope, they reached out, they contacted professional designers. It really is very important. And even though, Darius, you said bother people, fine, bother them, annoy them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you're aware, after I did my seminar at LDI, 3 young designers have already reached out to me, and I'm going to be meeting with them while
Nice.
they're coming to New York for interviews. And I'll take that to the next level, Darius. I'm going to be redesigning the CBS Network studio in Boston, WBZ, in a
Okay.
couple of months. Let's stay in touch. And when I do that project, I'll be more than happy to have you on board so that you can see how a TV studio gets installed.
I would love that. That'd be great. Or what time? When though? Because I actually fly to London on Saturday because I'm studying abroad this
This isn't going to
semester.
be for a couple of months.
Okay, great.
It'll be sometime in April.
Maybe what
Amazing.
Darius is saying, you might want to go with him to London. He'll
You know
he'll
what?
see
That
your
sounds a little
Boston
more
and
promising.
he'll raise you London.
No, I'll go to London. You
Come
stay
visit.
in Boston. I'll go with London with Darius, all right? It's
Wait,
not
what are
for-
you doing? What are you doing in London?
I'm doing a theater studies internship in London. They haven't told me what I'm going to be doing. They haven't told me the company I'm going to be working with yet. So I'll figure it out in the next couple weeks or so. But I'm taking just like 4 classes and then doing an internship for.
That's great.
And how did you land that? That's really wonderful.
That's just a program that the school offers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From Boston U.
Mhm.
Great.
So
That's great.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I've been reaching out to designers, cold emailing. If you're from London, and I haven't sent you an email, I apologize. But I went on like the ALPD website and went through their directory and just started emailing people from the directory.
That's the way to do it.
Did you contact Rick Fisher?
I did.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the show's.
Hannah, who you know from Live Design, lives in London now.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll have to reach
Yep.
out.
So, absolutely.
Good to know.
I'll send
Okay.
you her email if you don't have it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Elena and Darius, for being on the show. It was so refreshing and rejuvenating to have you here, and your thoughts on AI and the future of technology and everything and education. It's so enlightening to us, and always will be. And thank you so much. And we're going to be following your careers as we follow all of our young designers. So there you go.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
guys.
having us.
Yes.
Our
You're
pleasure.
wonderful.
Well, the rocking sounds of the Luminoids, that's the music in the background, tells us that once again you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show on just about every podcast site out there. Check out our website at lighttalk.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
if you do decide to litigate, you will have to deal with me, Snoot, from the Snoot Group. And don't get it twisted. Just because I married one of these losers does not mean I will go easy on you. So don't fuck with me.
Today's casserole is coming to you from the Garden State of New Jersey, Kalamazoo, Michigan, the home to famous craft breweries, the beautiful Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California, the tropical paradise St. Bart's, the Lone Star State, and Nashville, TN, the country music capital of the world.
be sure to join us next week when we dive into more lighting shenanigans and serve up a fresh, piping hot casserole of nonsense.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world.
So we'll see you all next Saturday morning. Bye-bye from Light Talk.
Bye.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Light Talk.